Welcome to the Bourbon Doctors. I'm Chad. This is Albert. And today we're going to talk about our recent trip to Kentucky and what you need to know going in and what we have learned going down to the Bourbon Trail and, mistakes we've made that, hey, hopefully you don't make them. So,
or maybe just tips on maybe not our mistakes, but just tips on how to make a successful trip to the Bourbon Trail.
You want a tip?
How about tip number one? How about plan ahead?
Plan ahead. We did not do it. We're terrible planners.
Yeah, we're not great at planning things. This was a very off-the-cuff trip to Louisville.
So we just said, hey, let's just go down.
Now, in the past, that may have flown in Louisville because a lot of the distilleries did have more openings and more availabilities. But since the pandemic and things have changed,
you got to plan like that. We met people that said they planned 6 months ahead and they couldn't get into some tours and tastings.
Yeah.
And so really plan ahead. And then number two, the distilleries can be awesome. And we had some great tastings there, like, name the experience. We had the Evan Williams experience I thought was fantastic. That wasn't at the distillery. It was in Louisville. But also the Lux Row tasting for $13. We got to taste, 3 of their high-end whiskeys that I thought that was a deal. Actually.
Yeah, a great deal. So I think the distilleries are a great place to get tastings and sample items. You can get a lot of memorabilia. You can get a lot of knickknacks and tchotchkes.
That stuff.
But there's one thing that you might not get at the distilleries, and that's rare or hard to find bourbons. Do not go into the distilleries hoping to find Pappy or even Weller or even the Wild Turkey 13. What you'll find at the distilleries is usually just their everyday stuff.
Yeah, it's your stuff you can usually get in the liquor store. I mean, we went to Buffalo Trace, Woodford Reserve,
Old Forester,
Wild Turkey, Old Forester, Lux Row. You want to tell them, though, occasionally you do find something.
But there's the
talk
thing.
About that?
So that the sub point there is sometimes you are going to find great things at the distilleries. We happened to go to Lux Row, and they just happened to throw out the Blood Oath pack number 7, which is a limited release, and they had 50 bottles the day we happened to be there.
Yeah, you gotta. It's timing.
It's timing and
all
chance. You can get some things like Chad picked up some Evan Williams 1783.
This was at the and I've not seen this locally. And so I got it. It's actually quite good.
So you might find things that you won't find at your local place, at your local home state, your local distillery, or your local liquor store. And you might stumble into something great. We actually just missed birthday bourbon at Old Forester. They released 70 bottles, and we just missed it.
The day after we were there. Right?
Day after and the day before we were there.
Yeah, because we came there.
Yeah, because I went back. And yeah.
It
So don't expect it. But take advantage if you do. If you find something rare or unique or limited, for sure, go ahead and get it.
And a lot of the experiences are fantastic. We did the ideal bartender experience at Evan Williams in Louisville, and I liked it. I mean, and it was a good value. You paid, what, $15?
$15,
and we got a cocktail and 3 tastings. It was and I've never had the Evan Williams 12.
Nope.
And that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Pikesville Rye, and so I thought it was overall fantastic.
The tastings there can be really good values.
That's enough for the distilleries. Point 3, hit the liquor stores.
Yeah.
Okay, because you will find stuff that you can't find at home for the most part, unless it depends on where you live. If you live there, that's great. But, you can't find this stuff. Like, show them some stuff you got.
The liquor stores, and you'll have to hit a few different ones. We went to Liquor World. We went to a Liquor Barn. And I can't remember. We went to Justin's
House of Bourbon. That was fantastic. You can get anything at Justin's House of Bourbon.
For price.
Bring your wallet.
For price.
And your credit card. But I will put a shout out to Booth, who was there, and Miriam, who was our bartender. They were fantastic and great people.
Justin's is certainly a place that you should check out if you visit Louisville or Lexington. They have a Lexington shop as well.
I like it a lot. You can get anything there.
But a lot of the liquor stores will have store picks. I was able to get an Old Forester single barrel store pick at one of the liquor stores.
Or craft.
You can get craft
like
distillery
this,
stuff.
New Lou. This was New Louisville craft bourbon. It's called sensual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate.
No,
I know it's sensual, but it's sexual chocolate every time for
It
me.
was it's quite good. It's very sweet, chocolatey bourbon. So I got some of that, and excellent.
I was
It's good
also
stuff.
able to pick up a bottle of Little Book. I got a store pick of Rebel Cast Strength. They're great finds at the local liquor stores, and you really should check them out. Now, some of the liquor stores will be charging higher than MSRP or higher than higher retail prices, so just be prepared. You'll find some great deals, and you'll find some overpriced stuff, just like everywhere else.
It's just like the rest of the world, man. Just like the rest of the world. Fourth point, you're going there, and if you want to go out to eat, you can get unbelievable bourbon when you go out to eat. I thought the bourbon, the menu has like 8 items, and the bourbon list is about 400.
8 pages.
Yeah, it's 8 pages.
Yeah. But there's a laundry list of bourbons that you can't, unless you're a collector, unless you've got a ridiculous home collection, you'll find a lot of rare things that they have that you can just get a pour. Now, those pours may cost you. Pappy 15 was about $100 for a 1-ounce pour. But hey, if you've never had a chance to try Pappy and you want to try it, there you go. Stag, sure. A whole bunches of rare stuff or hard to find stuff they have that you can just get a pour of.
And I will say the food was really good.
The food was great.
had some
It is Southern
great
cooking, so
food.
be prepared if you're not used to that.
Yeah, I mean, we had the big biscuit breakfast and all that kind of stuff. But I want to talk just briefly about the signature hot brown sandwich. It was kind of like this. It reminded me of something I'd get at grade school, like when you had the turkey gravy thing.
Yeah, our hot brown experience at the under the bridge pub was not great.
I'll say the rest was really good. I mean, we had some great Southern food.
But we'll have to go back and try a hot brown again. It may be a different establishment.
Yeah, that wasn't the place to get it, I don't think. No. So, but overall, food. You want to go out to dinner, you can have a great bourbon list, great dinner.
Yeah.
Where do you stay? I mean, we stayed downtown. I thought that was great because you could walk, and really you want to walk. I mean, you don't want to be, after a long day of trying bourbon all day, you don't want to be driving around.
I mean, there's lots of options, right? I mean, if you stay downtown, walking is certainly an option. You can get to a lot of great places within a 5-10 minute walk, including some of the distilleries like Peerless and Buffalo, Peerless and Old Forester. I think there are other options because some of the bigger distilleries are outside of Louisville. So there's
Bardstown,
Bardstown, Frankfurt. There are basically there's a big subset to the east and a big subset to the south. You can sign up for tours bus tours and things like that to drive you around. You can either rent a car, you can drive your own car. There's lots of options, and certainly if you want to stay closer to some of the distilleries, it's certainly possible. We stayed downtown and it was great. We'd take our drives earlier in the day so that later in the day we could head back to Louisville and just do our walking for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'll say the best time I had was at the Bardstown Distillery because it's like a huge club restaurant. And you're just sitting there, relaxing, having a drink, and it's stuff you can't get. I mean, you got some of the Bardstown. What was it? The Founders or which one?
The Distiller's Collection is the bottle that they only produce there. It doesn't get distributed anywhere, and so that's a sample that you can only get at the distillery. I'll agree with Chad that the Bardstown Distillery really was...
It was a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise.
Really pleasant surprise. It's a great place just to hang. Whereas a lot of the other distilleries, they might have a little gift shop. They might have a little bar. But in terms of just hanging out, Bardstown Distillery is fantastic.
And good booze. Good juice.
And a great whiskey.
All right.
So there's our, 5, 6, 7 tips for heading down to the Bourbon Trail. For now, that's what we got. And we hope that your trip to the Bourbon Trail is as successful as ours was.
What'd you just say?
That's something about successful? I don't think that's not what, you don't. It doesn't need to be that. I mean, it can be if you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want.
In your mood. All right. Like, subscribe. Remember.
Bourbon is for drinking.
Cheers.